People around the world impacted as Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all experiencing a major outage today. This comes after the Facebook whistleblower accused the company of prioritizing profits over public good. That's in her bombshell interview with 60 Minutes. U.S. Marines who had been deployed to Afghanistan returned home on Sunday. This comes as a Marine who rescued a baby over the fence at the Kabul airport is being investigated for appearing at a Trump rally. And an alarming new report on the U.S. military. According to data from the Department of Defense, the suicide rates among active duty service members has gone up by more than 40% over 5 years. Tune into Deep Dive as we explore these topics and more. Hello and welcome. This is Deep Dive and I'm Tiffany Meyer. Let's begin with widespread panic. That's after millions around the world reported that Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram are all down. According to detection websites, by noon, over 5 million reports that Facebook was down. Facebook has not yet said what caused the outage. The company did send out a tweet saying, "We are aware that some people are having trouble accessing our apps and products," adding, "We are working to get things back to normal as quickly as possible, and we apologize for any inconvenience." In America alone, over 123,000 reports of Facebook being down. And it seems to go farther than the social media giants. Reports that Telegram and TikTok are also down. This comes after a Facebook whistleblower accused the giant of prioritizing profits over public good. She revealed her identity in a bombshell interview with 60 Minutes. Frances Haugen said there were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests. She went on to leak tens of thousands of pages of internal research and documents. She claims they show the social media giant knows the platform is used to spread hate, violence, and misinformation, and has tried to hide it. Haugen points the finger at the company's algorithm, saying Facebook has realized that if they change the algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click on less ads, they'll make less money. The social media giant is pushing back. Facebook is denying many of Haugen's claims in a statement, saying in part, "We continue to make significant improvements to tackle the spread of misinformation and harmful content. To suggest we encourage bad content and do nothing is just not true." Haugen filed at least 8 complaints with the Securities and Exchange Commission alleging Facebook is hiding research about its problems from investors and the public. Haugen also shared documents with the Wall Street Journal, which published a multi-part investigation showing the company was aware of the negative effects of misinformation and harm caused especially to young girls on Instagram. On Tuesday, she will testify in front of a Senate subcommittee hearing. Now, what about coming home? U.S. Marines who had been deployed to Afghanistan returned home on Sunday. Scott Wiles was part of the motorcycle escort for the Marines over the final 50 miles of their journey home.
To come back to an empty parade deck was not something that the Patriot Guard was going to let happen. We were invited by the Marines to be here. That's why we were here. So we escorted them from March Air Force Base all the way to Fallbrook, through the Naval Weapons Station, then in through Pendleton all the way to here to the parade deck.
Marines from the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines Regiment were on duty outside the Kabul airport on August 26th. That's the day a suicide bomber killed 13 American service members and scores of Afghans. 9 Marines from the battalion and a Navy sailor also based at Camp Pendleton were among the 13 killed. 2 additional Marines and an Army soldier also died.
What we want them to do is know that civilians, veterans, people in the area care about what it is that they do and what they're doing for us as a country.
The Marines were killed less than 10 days after the Taliban seized Kabul, culminating in a swift takeover of the country as American forces withdrew from the 20-year war. The Marines had been attempting to protect the airport during a chaotic U.S. airlift. Eventually, 124,000 people were able to get out of the country, including U.S. citizens, Afghan allies, and their families. Now, what about the price of speaking out? A Marine who rescued a baby over the fence at the Kabul airport is being investigated for appearing at a Trump rally. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Hunter Clark says he has pulled a baby over the wall at the Kabul airport during the U.S. military withdrawal. On Saturday, September 25th, he went on stage at a Trump rally held in Perry, Georgia.
And we're also honored to be joined.
Trump told the rally that with them that day is one of the Marines who was in Kabul and helped evacuate children. He said Clark did a great job before asking him to get on stage.
Lance Corporal, come up here.
Clark was not wearing his military uniform at the time. He spoke for about 20 seconds.
Hey, my name's Lance Corporal Hunter Clark. I'm here from Warner Robins, Georgia. I am the guy that pulled the baby over the wall, and it's definitely probably one of the greatest things I've ever done in my entire life. I just want to thank all the support from all y'all. It really means a lot, and I'm glad to be home now today. Thank you.
Clark is a native of Georgia and went to school in Perry. The 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU, is now conducting a command investigation to determine if any Department of Defense policies were violated. Any details pertaining to this incident are not releasable while the investigation is being conducted. That's what a spokesman for the unit told the Epoch Times in an email. The unit isn't saying what policies Clark may have violated. Under Pentagon policies, active duty service members should not engage in partisan political activity. That includes participation in partisan political fundraising activities, rallies, conventions, and other events. But the rules do not apply to members who aren't wearing their uniform, as long as no inference or appearance of official sponsorship, approval, or endorsement can reasonably be drawn. According to the MEU spokesman, a viral photograph that showed a Marine pulling a baby on August 19th over barbed wire into the airport does not show Clark. But there were several other babies rescued by U.S. troops during the 10 days they were holding the airport. And now, what about a different Marine, one jailed over a viral video? Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller is awaiting a hearing over viral videos in which he called for accountability from top leaders in the military and the Department of Defense. Officials say he is in confinement at a Marine Corps base in North Carolina. But it's not clear when his hearing will take place. A source familiar with the matter told the Epoch Times the pre-trial confinement initial review hearing could be held in secret. The source spoke on the condition of anonymity to avoid backlash from the military, but provided the Epoch Times with documentation supporting these claims. The source said Scheller has agreed to stay in the brig in the meantime as a show of solidarity with fellow Marines in far worse conditions around the world. According to Task and Purpose, the pretrial confinement hearing was initially scheduled for September 30th, but was delayed until Tuesday so the defense and prosecution can seek a joint resolution of the matter. 35 Congress members called for Scheller's release in a letter dated September 29th, addressed to General David Berger, Commandant of the Marine Corps, and Major General David Bly, Staff Judge Advocate to the Commandment. The letter reads, as you know, rule for court-martial outlines that within 24, 48, and 72 hours of confinement, the service member's commander must make a determination or show just cause that it is reasonably foreseeable that the service member will not appear at trial, pre-trial hearing, or investigation, or will engage in serious criminal misconduct, and that lesser forms of restraint are inadequate. It goes on to say, in fact, this confinement appears to be simply for messaging, retribution, and convenience in flagrant violation of the law. A person should not be confined as a mere matter of convenience. Furthermore, the rule also states that Lieutenant Scheller should be accommodated in the less serious forms of restraint. And for the above reasons, we urge you to use your considerable authority to correct this misapplication of law and immediately remove Lieutenant Scheller from his confinement. The letter goes on to state, given his excellent record and more than 15 years of dedicated service, we do not believe and have seen no evidence that Lieutenant Scheller poses a grave risk of criminal misconduct. It is our understanding that some member offices have emailed the government's counsel, Mr. Troy Campbell, with no response or feedback on the upcoming reevaluation hearing. It is imperative that members of Congress be afforded an opportunity to conduct their oversight duties with respect to military justice. For the aforementioned reasons, we request that Lieutenant Scheller be released from pretrial confinement and be housed in least restrictive form of housing. In August, Scheller went viral after posting a video on social media alleging that top military brass were not taking responsibility for how the military withdrawal from Afghanistan was handled. He was told to stop posting to social media, but he continued and was eventually arrested and detained. And the outrage over his confinement has generated over $2 million in support. And an alarming report on the U.S. military this Sunday. According to data from the Department of Defense, the suicide rates among active duty service members has gone up by more than 40% over 5 years. The data says in 2020, there was a 9.1% increase in the rate for active duty service members. Among reserve members, it went up by 19.2% last year, but has gone down since 2018. And though the rate for National Guard members went up by almost 32%, it also decreased in the past 2 years. In 2020 alone, 580 members of the military died by suicide. In a statement, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said in part the findings are troubling and that the trends are not going in the right direction. And on that topic, mental illness affects everyone directly or indirectly through family, friends, or coworkers. That's why doctors and health officials are trying to get the word out about how to live with and manage it. The first week of October is Mental Illness Awareness Week. Congress officially established Mental Illness Awareness Week, or MIAW, in 1990 to better educate the public about mental health issues, provide support for those who face it, and fight against discrimination. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, mental illness is common in the U.S. They state nearly 1 in 5 adults live with a mental health condition. That worked out to around 51.5 million people in 2019. And it's not just people. What about man's best friend? October is National Pet Wellness Month. Thousands of veterinarians around the country are raising awareness about aging pets. Vets say dogs and cats reach adulthood by the age of 2. By 4 years old, they are already middle-aged, and many dogs become seniors at the age of 7. That's why vets are also using this month to encourage wellness exams every 6 months. And now before we end, Taco Tuesday is on a Monday this year. It's National Taco Day. Each year on October 4th, tacos get honored. Last year, Americans ate more than 4.5 billion tacos. That's according to a website dedicated to the food holiday. That equals to an estimated 490,000 miles of tacos. Ways to celebrate include checking your favorite chains for deals. Taco Bell is offering a free crunchy taco for those who sign up for their rewards app. And of course, in this day and age, use the hashtag National Taco Day on social media to join the fun online. But what do you think? Let me know below. Thanks for tuning in to Deep Dive. I'm Tiffany Meyer, and see you soon.